Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone. Welcome in to your number one source for Native American television news, Native News Today. I'm your host, Jason Salzman, back in the Mvskoke Media Studios portion of our operation here for today's show. So excited for a lot of great content to bring your way. Some worthy causes out there right now, ladies and gentlemen. We have been following lots of them, so it's a great thing for us to be here and to be able to get some of that out, get the message out, and that's what we love doing here at Mvskoke Media and Native News Today every Saturday. So glad to have you in. We're going to get to a little bit of that later on. I want to remind you, got lots of coverage out there too on MvskokeMedia.com right now. Lots of great stories that we're working on, and the newest edition of the Mvskoke Nation News is out right in time for the beginning of December here. So as we move away from Thanksgiving, we hope you all had a great one. We're getting ready for Christmas. Lots of exciting things here at the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the show after this first break.
It's more than just an associate degree. It's a life-changing experience.
You'll see a lot of cultural features here on the campus. You'll see a symbol of the mound, which goes back to the history of Mvskoke people as being in that Mississippian time period, that mound building society. That really welcomes our students whenever they first get here.
The college in itself is beyond the building, is the people.
They're passionate, very passionate about what they teach, and it shows whenever they're teaching.
The instructors and the administration, they really believe in their students here.
After a couple classes, I began to notice that it kind of felt as if I were returning back to something that has been lost for like a long time. As I learned more about the history of my people, to discover that there were very many great people that did a lot of good things for their people, for their nations, and that those people were American Indian and Native American, it kind of brings out a sense of pride that was not really there before.
There is a future for our people.
Looking for your next 18-hole adventure? Then take a look at Fountainhead Creek Golf Club. Nestled in the beautiful confines of Lake Eufaula State Park, large sloping greens and well-placed bunkers characterize the Mvskoke Creek Nation's Floyd Farley designed course and offers a fine test of skill for any golfer. Stay up on all the latest gear and equipment with a visit to our pro shop. Have lunch at the Turn at the Clubhouse Grill. We're waiting to accommodate you at Fountainhead Creek. Give us a call at 918-689-3209 or visit fountainheadgolf.com to book your next round. Fountainhead Creek Golf Club, close to home, far from ordinary.
We believe if you teach a man to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. We believe that transitioning convicted citizens back into our communities enhances public safety. We believe that every citizen, even ex-prisoners, are important and are capable of change. We believe in reclaiming our citizens and investing them back into a culture that embraces healing and restoration.
We believe
in reintegration.
And welcome back to the program as we get started with this week's set of features. And our first one is one we want to share with you of a Choctaw citizen. Miss Diane Burris is up in Tulsa with Glad Wag Service Dog Training Center. Now, a lot of people out there have seen service dogs before. They help with all kinds of things, a number of different things, including even for people with PTSD. I'll go into that a little bit in the story, but Glad Wag's Service Dog Training Center, Diane Burris Burris, a Choctaw citizen. So, you know, we go out there and we meet all kinds of people, and we like to get different features of what our Native American citizens are doing right here in Oklahoma. This is another exceptional story about that. This is an interesting one because Darren DeLon, actually one of our reporters from the Mvskoke Nation News, went out with our own Devaney Luxinger and reported on this story. He'll have a feature on it coming up in the Mvskoke Nation News, so look for that. But here's Diane Burris, a Choctaw citizen, and her service dogs.
Diane Burris, I'm Choctaw. I am retired from being disabled. I have PTSD. With PTSD, you eventually develop other medical conditions, to which I also have. I was a consultant to small businesses, and I was a net profit specialist, so I could take a business that was not making the amount of money they wanted and help them build up to the amount that they needed. I miss it, but now I do other things, one of which is helping to train service dogs. And I specialize in PTSD dogs for veterans. With PTSD, you can have panic attacks. With the panic attacks, a lot of times you fall to the ground. When you fall to the ground, you cannot get back up. Your legs don't work, nothing works. He will bring me my medicine. He will go to the ice box, he will open it, bring me a bottle of water so I can take my medicine. And then he will lay on top of me to help me calm down. And he will stay with me and he will mess with me until I come out of it. It's the same thing with night terrors. He'll get up, he'll turn on the light, he'll get up in the bed and wake me up, which is, anybody with PTSD can tell you that's not always a smart thing to do, but he knows how to do it. And then he will do the same thing. He will mess with me until it passes. And then he'll get off the bed and let me go back to sleep. In public, aside from allowing me to be able to get out in public because I have him there, if I get nervous around a bunch of people, which happens, people standing over me is one of my things. And he will stand in front of me when people get too close. And I call it front and center is the command for him. And he'll just stand in front of me and keep the distance between people getting too close to me so I don't get a trigger and go into a panic attack. And he does stuff like that. If people come up too close behind me, he will back up and get behind me a little bit. And he stays beside me so that he's always there to hold on to me if I need him. He has a balance harness. A lot of people with PTSD, if they've had head injuries, do have vertigo. And so he helps me there so that if I fall, I can get picked up easy. He also is taught to steady me so I don't fall, which makes a big difference. With PTSD, you do get other conditions. It's just common, the stress is so high. And I began having heart problems. And with that, he became my heart dog. So he is a cardiac dog as well now, and he monitors my heart. And if I have diastolic heart failure, he can tell me 45 minutes in advance. I can be in the hospital emergency room on the gurney hooked up before it happens. That's big. When it started, I couldn't talk. I had a lot of physical pain. I've got a lot of damage to my body. Couldn't walk, couldn't do a whole lot of anything, could not go out my front door. I would go to the door, I would look out, and that's as far as I could get. When they sent me to Marge, my mom actually came in and took me and drove me up to the training center. And I sat there and she looked at him. And of course, my dog's a lab. And he had all these problems because I'd been doing everything wrong for about 18 months. And I went through other trainers. but they were not service dog trainers, okay? And she finally told me, says, well, he's already working, doing the things I need as a PTSD dog. Says, but he only has 3 problems. She goes, he's a lab, and he's a lab. And she worked with him, and in 6 months, she undid the damage I had done in 18. And he became a functioning in public service dog again. And I got to go outside. It takes a lot to learn. It's not something you can just pick up and do. Any kind of dog training I discovered after learning a lot is not just teaching them how to do things, it is how to manage a dog. And management of your service dog is critical to keeping them in shape and in being able to do the things they need to do. If you don't do it right, they will lose their ability to work. So you have to learn that first. And then you have to learn how to not just train the dog to do it, but how to train the people to be able to do it and to maintain it. Service dogs are a commitment. I mean, it's like being attached to your hip, but it is life-changing.
I'm Marge Satterfield. I'm the president and master trainer of Gladwag Service Dogs and owner of Marge the Dog Trainer. I've been training dogs professionally since 1974, and so I apprenticed in the 80s at San Rafael School for the Blind, and then Freedom Service Dogs in Colorado, and Hearing Dogs International. I was donating dogs to the School for the Blind, German Shepherds, and I've always had an interest in dogs working on any level, so I just went out and they took me on as an apprentice, and it was wonderful. I just spent 6 weeks there. It was great. So I just always was interested in that, since a kid actually, but when they started training service dogs on different levels, guide dogs have been around for over 100 years, and I suppose in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, they started to use dogs for people in wheelchairs, and then it branched out to hearing dogs, and then now we are able to train dogs for all kinds of disabilities because dogs can do anything. We are different from a large number of service dog training facilities because we take all of our dogs from shelters, and I usually try to get them from high kill shelters. We find dogs on the street. We get them from all over. Our overhead increases substantially if we were to have a breeding program, and I get so many great dogs from all kinds of shelters, and there's just no reason for me to breed dogs to be service dogs. So I test 35 dogs to get one service dog, though. It's not like I just go to the shelter and go, oh, I'll take those 3. It's a formula. If I'm looking for a diabetic alert dog or a seizure alert dog, those dogs have to really have good sniffer work instinct. So I do a lot of nose work testing on those kind of dogs. If I need a PTSD dog or a psychiatric service dog or an autism dog, I want the calmest dog I can find, because if I've got somebody that's anxious or a child that's having a meltdown, I need a dog that can just step in and be really calm. So I look for really calm dogs. So I usually go with the person in mind. I've already interviewed them, and I know I'm looking for a PTSD dog or what I'm looking for, and so that's kind of what I survey around to look for and test for. It's life-changing. There's now documentation on psychiatric service dogs, which include PTSD dogs, any type of mental illness. The decrease in having to take medication, sometimes it goes away completely. The decrease in suicide, which, you know, if we could provide every veteran with a service dog, our suicide rate would disappear. And so it's been well documented, probably the last 10 years, about how valuable psychiatric service dogs are. Not only for veterans, of course, but for anybody. The mental health community is terribly underserved, and having service dogs recommended for them, and it's so life-changing. They can get out of the house, they can get a job, they can be normal, as you can be. But so it's amazing. I don't even have any words for it other than I can just see the changes in my clients. Like Diane's been phenomenal. They have that centering being with them that helps them on all walks of life. It's sometimes you got to get up to take them out, so you got to get up out of your bed. People are more welcoming to you. By the same token, you kind of have to fight people off from petting your dogs, so sometimes that's really stressful if you're anxious being out in public anyway and someone's trying to prevent you from coming in because you have a dog that maybe doesn't look like a traditional service dog. So that can be an issue, but I have no words for it. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
And thanks to Diane Burris once again. Great story there on a Choctaw citizen and her service dog operation. And if you want to see that, you can always go to our YouTube channel. If you didn't catch it here and tell somebody about it, they can always catch it on our YouTube channel there, right there, Native News Today, if you search it in. Well, our next story takes us to, sort of a somber subject, but also there is hope. And that's why we love showing stories like this, because this is a signal of things being done, awareness being brought to the epidemic of suicide. And I use the term epidemic very seriously. It's something that is affecting Native American young men at a higher rate than any other ethnicity. I think in the 19 to 24, that age range in there, we're higher than any other ethnicity with our numbers. But something that we are combating at the Mvskoke Creek Nation. Recently, we had a men's summit where we talked and targeted young men about the future. And also this event, Suicide Survivors Day here at Mvskoke Creek Nation.
Today we are having our second event for International Survivor of Suicide Loss Day. We did this last year and we had a good response, so we're doing it again this year. This is actually the 18th time that this has happened internationally. So there are over 350 events going on today throughout the country and also in some international locations as well. And it's just a really important time for us to reach out to those who have lost loved ones to suicide and provide resources to them and support and let them know that they're not alone. And we also want to encourage people to get help when they are experiencing depression or other mental health related issues or substance abuse issues to reduce the stigma that's surrounding these issues and that people are afraid to ask for help. So help is available. And that's what we're talking about today, is healing and grief and loss and how to move forward and have hope. We want them to know mainly that they're not alone. Our nation has been impacted greatly by suicide and depression and substance abuse issues that go along with all of these things. They all go together. And there is support, and we want to be able to support them on an ongoing basis. So we're actually asking them for their feedback today, and that we want to know what else we can do to help them. People who are experiencing suicidal thoughts or depression, they can reach out to us. We always have help available. But there's also other resources for non-natives, such as the 1-800-273-TALK prevention line. And we do have the crisis text line now, where people can text the word creek to 741-741, and they can also always call us at behavioral help. Our number is 918-758-1910. And even if we can't help them for some reason, we will provide resources or direct them to where they can get help. We just want everyone to know that there is support, there is help available, and that there's always hope. And so we want to encourage people to get more involved and reach out to others, especially around the holidays. This is a really difficult time when people are experiencing grief and loss. And we are also doing some grief support groups, and we're going to start doing more of that out in the community. So even if someone doesn't want to get ongoing therapy or counseling, sometimes a support group can be helpful as well. So if they can just try to follow some of the Facebook pages and the website to keep up with some things that are coming out. We're going to have a newsletter pretty soon, and of course working with Mvskoke Media and the newspaper, having all that in there so that people can utilize those resources.
The reason I came today is because I lost my son September 23rd, 2015. It's been like a year and 2 months since I lost my son. I think it was good to come here to tell his story, to reach out to other parents that have not went to like the trail that I've gone through as far as losing a child. It's like I try to reach out because I try to be an advocate for not to have this happen to other parents of losing a child. And I said no parent should have to bury their own children. And so that's the reason why I come here, to put a message out, to look out. My son passed from PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, being in the military. He was a staff sergeant in the United States Army for 10 years. He'd been to 3 deployments in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Persian Gulf. He was on a combat team. I'm sure that he had a lot of horrors and black demons inside him when he comes back. But like today's society, a lot of our veterans are coming back and they're not getting taken care of like they should be. And instead of just giving them pills and go back to their unit, they should at least take off at least 6 months to re-diffuse from being in a hostile environment, instead of just coming in for like two months and then go back to the field training and then go back out and then get deployed out again. That's why a lot of these soldiers today think that they're going to bite the bullet, that this might be the tour that takes their life. And they've seen so many of their comrades have passed, have been beside them, and have their life taken away from them. And I think it's good that this thing here is good to talk about suicide. And a lot of them, even though they're not taken in the field, they come back, but they're fighting the war at home here with suicide awareness. And so that's why I'm an advocate for Mission 22, as far as going where it used to be 22 veterans a day were committing suicide, but now it has gone down to 20. And the numbers keep going down. So as long as we're putting that message out there, that we're showing the signs of what to look for when they have this PTSD, and that there's always help out there, that the veteran doesn't have to think that they're out there alone, that they're fighting it by themselves, and they're not. And also with a tragedy assistance program for survivors called TAPS. And I go out there and to be a mentor. They want me to be a mentor to other parents. I went to one in Tampa, Florida this past year. And it was an eye-awakening that some of them are still grieving at 10, 20 years. One son was grieving his father for 40 years. And so I think that it's a good message to go out there. They thought it was a good relief when I showed up, that I was able to tell my story after just losing my son after only a year, that I was being strong and be able to talk to other people about this. But I said that's the reason why the Lord has put me in the hands of put the words in my mouth to speak to other parents because of this suicide. And I said, if I can touch somebody, that maybe it won't happen to another family. And I said, it's a shame that, that parents have to bury their children. That should not be, especially in the military. And I said, after they've served so honorably, and then they go take their life. My son was in 10 years in the military when he took his life. But I just made it a point that his story's going to be told, and I'm going to reach out to other soldiers to, if they have problems, that there's a place to go, and that we have help now, that we have people come on board with us, that we can stamp out this PTSD. We not reach them all, but the ones we do, there's a lot of out there that want to help. And if they know there's somebody wanting to help them, then they'll start coming to us. We want them to know that that they're not by themselves, that they have a military family, brothers and sisters that served in the military, that are there for them, and that we give our numbers out 24 hours. It doesn't matter what time of the day. If you need somebody to talk to, just call us, because we will listen. We'll be there for you. But that's why a lot of them think like, oh, they don't care, or they feel ashamed. There's no reason to feel ashamed because of the military that they endured and everything, their stories and the horrors that they went through. There's other veterans that are going that are strong, and they'll be able to reach out and touch their brother and sister and say, it's okay, it's all right to feel that way. Because, we've all lost somebody in our life and everything, especially on the field and off the field. And so that's why I think it's good that the veterans are find that this is a new awakening, that the Army is just not kicking them out anymore as far as calling unfit to serve. Because a lot of these young veterans, this is the only way they have to support their family. And so I think that the Army is now going back and re-looking about how we need to treat our veterans instead of just kicking them out of the Army. They're the one that trained them that way, and that they need to take care of their own.
And our thanks once again to all the people that made the show great this week. MCN Behavioral Health, Diane Burris, and the service dogs up there and in Tulsa. And we want to also thank all the people that are going to make the next few shows coming up for us. We got a lot of great things to show you here in the month of December as we get towards Christmas. We've got an Elder Conversation series coming up. We're really excited about that. A chance to sit down with one of our Mvskoke elders, which if we can provide that on camera, have that filmed for history, it's a great thing that we can provide. So we love doing that here as well. But if you want to see any of our videos and all of our episodes, as I said earlier, go to our YouTube channel, Native News Today, there in the search bar. It'll get you to our page. You can see all of our videos, all of our productions, everything that goes into making the show, even some behind the scenes materials. So that's all on there. Go to our Facebook page. Keep checking us out on Instagram. We want to Snapchat with you, Mvskoke Media. A search will get you to all of our outlets. All you have to do is put us in there and you can follow us on social media. So got a lot of great things going on here. Come and join us, MvskokeMedia.com. As always, I'm Jason Salzman with the rest of the crew here. Have a great week. You've been watching Native News Today.